For them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that someone took and sowed in the field. It is the smallest of seeds, but when it has grown, it is the greatest of shrubs, and it becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed in with 3 measures of flour until all of it was leavened. The kingdom of heaven is a treasure hidden in a field, which someone found and hid. And then in his joy, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls. On finding one pearl of great value, he went and sold all that he had and bought it. This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. You may be seated. Now, I thought, hey, I haven't taught about the parables all week. We better get an expert. So we did.
The very first night of Bible school, somebody figured out what a parable is. Do any of you remember? With what? With a what? A story with a point. 2 hours never went by so fast. And as a young Christian myself, I wasn't sure what parables were. But in dealing with these kids, well, and before this too, you find out a lot when you try to teach. So I understand now what a parable is, and I even understand what some of them mean. Maybe you don't, but you will. Okay, Pastor Robin read 4 real short stories with a point. Now we're going to talk about one of those today. Who can read that? What's that say?
Mustard seed.
Mustard seed. Did you ever see a mustard seed? Oh, we did. Here, we'll drink it up. Quick. These are actual seeds that were planted back in Jesus' time. And they're really tiny. You want to give a couple of those to Colby? Now, these weren't the smallest seeds. But back in Jesus' time, these were what the seeds looked like that were planted. Now, what happens, hopefully, when you plant a seed?
It grows.
Hopefully. And what does it grow into? Flower.
Plant.
Some kind of plant, right. Now, when people would plant these mustard seeds, and I didn't know this till I read this story in the Bible, these seeds would grow into a tree. Now, I never heard of a mustard tree, but it would grow into a tree. Now, in this parable, it says that heaven, how many of you have a picture of what heaven looks like? Nobody knows what heaven looks like? I don't either. But this story is telling us that heaven is like a mustard seed. Yeah, strange. How do you plant something that grows into heaven? Well, here's the deal. When this seed was planted, it grew into a plant, right? A little sprout would come up, and it would get bigger, and it would get bigger, and it would get bigger until its branches would start growing out. And the point of that story is, once we start telling people about who? Yes. Heaven gets bigger and bigger and bigger because all these people who then accept Christ, where they go? Of course they go to heaven. And we've talked about that this week. Once you accept Christ, you go to heaven. So Jesus was using this tiny, tiny, tiny little seed, which in my mind I thought, well, maybe that's just one person. One person. Remember back in Jesus' time, there weren't too many people in the beginning who believed or who knew about Jesus until he started telling about them. Okay, I'm going to take a gamble here. Who were those first people that knew about Jesus? Well, look at this, the two youngest ones. Kobe. Now, after that, Jesus. Who did Jesus tell about the kingdom? Who were those 12 people? His disciples, right. And each of those disciples was told to go and tell more people about Jesus. So that would be like the tree growing. And every time more people found out about Jesus, what would the tree do? Grow. Yep. And guess what Jesus wants to happen? He wants the whole world to know about it. So that tree will get bigger, bigger, and bigger. Now let's try to see if we can visualize that. I don't have any trees. Rena, come here. Put that up. If you're superstitious, tough. Put it up. Here's a little umbrella. And this would be like the first seed. I couldn't find one of those little cocktail umbrellas. Everybody else has them. Yeah, put the umbrella up. Put it up like it's raining. Now pretend that's a tree. See how it grew? It got bigger because some of the disciples, well, hopefully all of them, went around and told people about Jesus. So heaven got bigger. The kingdom of heaven got bigger. So the mustard seed grew, right? It grew and grew and grew. Zoe. Well, once those other people started to tell about Jesus, you know, more people found out about Jesus, and the tree got bigger and bigger. Tell people. Sometimes it's difficult to get your point across, but eventually it happens. There you go. Come over here and stand beside Rena. Is this one bigger? Now more people know about Jesus because other people have been telling more people about Jesus. So heaven gets bigger because more people are going. More people are going. Ruby. You guys are telling so many people about Jesus that heaven just keeps growing and growing and growing. And more people are going and going and going. It's tough sometimes to get your point across, isn't it? And sometimes you need some help. There you go. Now try her. Oh, look at that. Our kingdom is getting bigger and bigger because more people are learning and accepting Jesus. And once you do that, man, hey, we said heaven's a party. Heaven's a party. Well, guess what? Not everybody's heard about Jesus yet. Okay, we're going to need some tough ones now. Here's another one. Let's see how many people. Whoa! This one's got little loopies on it. Got it? Look at that. Look how we started over there. That one little tiny umbrella. More people heard about Jesus. More people heard about Jesus. More people accepted Jesus. And more people are going to heaven. You think God's happy? Absolutely. Both of you.
Gimme.
He's anxious to get in.
He's anxious to get in.
Hang on. Okay, you guys go over there. I think he was an original disciple. He knows how this works. Go clear over. Go clear over. Okay, now you guys are telling people, you're telling people, look at that. He's working, look at him, telling people. He's cranking it up. He's really telling the story now. That's the first time I've seen heaven. Come on over here a little bit. Look at that. Look at that. Do you see what happens when you tell people about Jesus and they accept Jesus? Look at that. Heaven, the kingdom of heaven grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And Jesus wants us to have the biggest umbrella there ever was because he wants us all in heaven. So, your job, remember some of you, all of you got that gold coin Friday to use your gifts? And one of those other responsibilities that we have is to tell people about Jesus. And the more people we tell, the more people accept him, man, we're going to have to get bigger umbrellas, aren't we? Bigger umbrellas. All right. Thank you.